Hey guys, it's Stargirl, the Practical Witch, and today I'm going to tell you the 10 signs that you were born with a natural gift of clairsentience, which is psychic feeling. Now, I believe when we are born, we are all blessed with our own unique psychic strengths, but as we get older, we tend to forget what those are because we get more used to being in our 3D body and in this 3D world. Before we decided to reincarnate into this earth, we actually weren't constrained by our 3D body and 3D perception. So we all naturally had psychic gifts. That is why when you're kids, you're more likely to experience your psychic gifts or psychic phenomenon because you remember what it was like to live without your 3D body. Now keep in mind, if you don't resonate with clairsentience, aka psychic feeling, that is okay. That just means that you don't have that specific psychic sense as your strongest psychic sense. You might be someone who has clairvoyance, which is psychic seeing, clairaudience, which is psychic hearing, or claircognizance, which is psychic knowing. Not everyone is gifted with the same psychic abilities or strengths because everyone has a different purpose on earth, and these abilities are supposed to aid you in your highest soul's purpose, and everyone has a different highest soul's purpose. Keep in mind, it is very common to have more than one strongest psychic sense. I know a lot of people who have 1, 2, or even 3 strongest psychic sense. So if that happens to you, no worries, it's perfectly normal. That just means you're extremely gifted. So 10 signs that you are naturally clairsentient, aka you have the natural gift of psychic feeling, is number 1. You are someone who feels energies of the room when you walk in. So you might be someone who visits a friend's house or a new place and you might be like, I don't like the vibes here. I don't like the energy here. It feels heavy or it feels creepy. You might be someone who feels like places are haunted when you walk into it, or be that person who's like, I don't like the feeling of this house. I feel like there's something dark in it. You might also be someone who steps into your friend's house and be like, I love the vibes of your house. I love the energy of your house. I love being here. It energizes me. So depending on where you are and where you visit, you might actually feel the vibes of a room, and it can either energize you or bring you down. The second sign you have the natural gift of clairsentience, aka psychic feeling, is if you're someone who has experienced the spiritual tingles a lot, more than once, more than a few times. This pretty much means whenever you sense spiritual activity, you might feel the goosebumps on your arm raise, you might feel your hair raise, you might get cold or really hot out of nowhere with no logical explanation why, or if when you're using your intuition, reading tarot, or doing anything that requires intuition or talking to your spirit guides, you might actually feel their presence on your skin. If this is something that's happened to you more than a few times or frequently, it's very likely you have the natural gift of clairsentience. The third sign you have the natural gift of clairsentience is if you're someone who gets hunches off of people that turn out to be true. So you might be someone who's like, I really like the vibes of that person, or you might be someone who's like, I really don't like their vibes. There's something about them that just doesn't feel right, or there's something about them that I really like that I can't put my finger on. And then once you get to know that person, it turns out that that hunch or that vibe you got off from that person turns out to be true. The fourth sign you're clairsentient is if you're someone who says, I feel a lot in sentence, or I'm feeling this, I feel that. People with clairsentience use those phrases a lot in sentences. So like I was telling the other clairs, this might take a little bit of self-observation or self-discovery to figure out how you form sentences and how you speak in everyday conversation. But if you notice yourself saying, I feel this or I feel that a lot, it's likely that your intuition and psychic ability stems from psychic feeling. The fifth sign you're clairsentient is if what gets you into movies most is the characters and their relationships between each other. So if you're someone who gets invested in a character in a movie or a show most, and that is the thing that makes you watch the movie or the show most, is like a character or how the characters interact or the relationship between the characters, it's very likely you're clairsentient. Whereas someone who is clairvoyant might pay attention or get into a movie most based on the special effects, costumes, makeup design, and someone who's clairaudient might like the script the best or the sound effects. You, someone who is clairsentient, will actually like the relationship relationship dynamic or character development more than anything. The sixth sign you are naturally clairsentient is if you're someone who is really impacted by astrology and the phases of the moon. So if you notice that every time Mercury's in retrograde, you are really impacted, you have a hard time talking, you have a hard time focusing, or anytime the moon is really full, you notice you get energized, or when the moon is a new moon, you might feel low energy, and this is something that really impacts your everyday life and you notice, it's very likely you have psychic feeling. Now, once again, this might take a little bit of observation. You might have to study your moods and how you feel during certain moon phases or during certain astrological events, but I guarantee you, if you keep track of that for about a month, you'll be able to discover if this is something that really impacts your moods and how you behave and feel. The seventh sign you're naturally clairsentient is if you're someone who only does something because you feel it's the right thing to do or you feel like doing it. In other words, you will not do it unless it aligns with your core values. You will not do it if you don't feel motivated or energized doing it. So you won't clean your room unless you get inspired and you feel like doing it. You won't work a job unless you really feel like doing it, and you won't compromise on that. So if you're someone who bases what you do throughout the day based on how you feel in that current moment, it's very likely you are naturally clairsentient. The eighth sign you're naturally clairsentient is if you're someone who is really into history. So you're someone who likes to go to museums, you like to see all the artifacts, you like old things, you like going to old houses because you like to feel the energy. You really like natural history museums, you like looking at old paintings, you like those rings and the mummies from Egypt. If this is something you really like, or you like going to museums, or you like learning about history, it's very likely you're clairsentient. The ninth sign is that you are someone who is a natural empath, which means you've been told you were an empath or you suspected you were an empath. Pretty much what that means is if you're around someone who's sick or sad, you will start to feel sick and sad like it's your own emotions. Or if you're around someone who's happy and uplifting, you'll start to feel happy and uplifted like it's your own emotions. You might actually be able to physically feel the mental and physical state of people around you. And because of this, you might be someone who avoids large crowds because the energies are too much and the energies have a tendency to drain you. So if you're someone who has a loner personality because you don't want to be bombarded by all these energies, or you're very selective about who you let into your life because of that, it's very likely you have the natural gift of psychic feeling. The 10th sign you have the natural gift of psychic feeling is if Feng Shui in your house is very important to you. So if the beds, the dressers, the tables aren't aligned in a way that makes the energy feel light for you, you might be someone who goes crazy. So you might be someone who frequently likes to move around furniture just to feel better in your room, or you might be someone who never keeps the room the same way or is very conscious about how your house feels based on where things are. If this sounds like you probably have clairsentience because you are able to feel energy on such a real and physical level. Now, those are those 10 signs. If you related to almost all of it, it is very likely you have the natural psychic gift of clairsentience, psychic feeling. Now, if you're someone who has psychic feeling as your strongest psychic sense, it is very likely that your purpose on earth is actually to be a healer. Now, a healer is a very broad term, so I'm just going to simplify it as best as I can. This means your life purpose probably has something to do with Reiki healing, sound healing, massage therapy, being any sort of doctor or healer. This also means that your life purpose on earth could actually be helping the less fortunate because you have such a huge ability to empathize with others. So you might be drawn to social work, teaching little children, therapy, counseling, cognitive behavioral therapists. You have the natural urge to help people who need help, or you have the natural urge to heal people who are suffering and hurting. People with clairsentience tend to make the most talented tarot readers and psychics, in my opinion, because they're really able to feel what you are feeling, and because of that, they're able to give you really sound advice. Also, if you are someone who is clairsentient and you use the law of attraction, which, mind you, everyone should be using the law of attraction because that is the law this universe runs by, but if you're someone who practices the law of attraction and you are clairsentient as your main psychic gift, your best way of manifesting is actually by feeling the emotions of what it is you want to manifest. Now, what I mean by that is when you're doing the law of attraction, how you will manifest your desires sooner is if you feel what it would feel feel like when you manifested your desire. So let's say you're trying to manifest $10,000 next month. Your best way of manifesting that would be picturing it, writing it down, saying your affirmations, but not just doing that, but by also feeling the emotion of what it would feel like when you got that money. So you might actually do a happy dance or smile or dance around or get really excited like you currently have that $10,000 you're trying to manifest, because you are someone who has psychic feeling, and therefore your feelings are powerful. And because your feelings are powerful, they are the strongest tool you need to use to manifest by using the law of attraction. So that's all I have for you guys. I hope you like this video, and I will see you guys later. Bye.